Now I'd like to hand over to Namrit Atchan, and then she'll be doing her thing, and then she's going to hand over to get the contest rolling. Welcome, Sam.
I need to get this lectern a little up to my height.
Short people.
Okay, welcome everyone. Good morning, all the distinguished members of District 73 Toastmasters. Today is a remarkable day and a day where we gather as a community, not only to celebrate our shared passion for personal and professional growth, but also to witness the extraordinary talents that reside within our organization. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome each one of you today and the speech contest day 2 of our annual District 73 conference. When we embark on a journey of self-improvement, we often find ourselves facing challenges, doubts, and fears. We question our abilities and we wonder if we have what it takes to stand before a crowd and deliver a powerful message. Yet, here we are, ready to embrace those fears, conquer our doubts, and step into the spotlight. Today, we remind ourselves that greatness lies within each one of us, waiting to be unleashed. To our participants, I want to express my deepest admiration and gratitude. You have shown incredible courage and commitment by taking part in this contest. By choosing to step into or onto this stage, you are not only sharing your ideas, but also inspiring others to find your own voices. Your determination to make a difference sets you apart as leaders within our Toastmasters community. So thank you. As we embark on this exhilarating journey together, I encourage each and every one of you to remember that power of words is real. Words have the potential to heal, to motivate, and to transform lives. They have the power to challenge the status quo, ignite innovation, and create lasting change. Today, we have the opportunity to witness the power of words in action. I also want to acknowledge the incredible support system that surrounds us, and that means so much, trust me. To the mentors, coaches, and colleagues who have nurtured our participants throughout their preparation. So if you're watching, this is for you. I extend my heartfelt appreciation. Your guidance, wisdom, and encouragement have played an integral role in shaping the impressive speeches we will hear today. Your belief in the potential of others and your dedication to their success is truly inspiring. So please keep doing that. And it's definitely showing out over here in the form of, or in the live form of contestants today. Let us remember that this event is not solely about winning or losing, but rather about growth and development that occurs along the way, through and through. Each participant has poured their heart and soul into their speeches. I am sure about that. And that in itself is a remarkable accomplishment. So as we listen to these captivating stories and insightful perspectives, let us celebrate the diversity of thought, the power of empathy, and the strength of unity. To the audience, very, very important and essential. First of all, thank you for being here in person. This is just amazing to watch everyone over here, all the hugs. Yesterday was just amazing. We had a few hiccups, but we are learning. I know that I need to have another podium or another lectern that is of my height. So we are all learning and getting there. But overall, it's just amazing. So thank you for being here. But to the audience, I invite you to listen attentively, engage wholeheartedly, and support our participants on their journey. So may the speech contest day be a reminder of the extraordinary potential within each and every one of us, Let us celebrate the power of words, the strength of community, and the boundless heights we can reach when we embrace our true potential. Thank you. And the speeches may begin. Julie, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Julie Wacker, in case you don't know me. There are not many people who don't know me. Would you please all switch off your mobile devices, as we all have one of those. And I think it's nothing more distracting than the regular beep, beep, beep sound from one of these phones in the room. Thank you so very much. I am your humorous speech contest chair today. And I make me wonder, Germans have been voted the least humorous people in the world. Again. And here I am. But lucky you, I am the contest chair. I'm not one of the contestants. Yes. Hey. What we are doing here today is a 5 to 7 humorous speech from all the contestants. They will be disqualified if they speak for less than 4 minutes 30 seconds, or if they speak for more than 7 minutes 30 seconds. They have a timing light here in the front, and they will see that quite regularly and hopefully clearly. I will introduce each speaker to ask them to verify that they are being visible and audible and that they can see the timing lights, because we have online judges. So for them, for the benefit of them, we will always make the audio and video check. Don't be impatient with that. Okay, good. I have a speaking order for you today, and I will read that out if you want to write it down. Speaker number 1 is Chris Smith. Speaker number 2 is Tammy Patrick. Speaker number 3 is Brett Kenny. Speaker number 4, Tracy Green. Speaker number 5, Fiona Price. Speaker number 6, Colin Howe. I learned that. Speaker number 7, Alan Fitzpatrick. Are there any questions? No, good. What I would like you to do before we start with the contest, that you're all getting up. All get up. And I want you to imagine that you are a penguin. For that, I want you to lift your shoulders up to your ears, very high up, very high up. It's very uncomfortable. And I want you to waddle around. It's very cold. You're at the freezing polar world. It's freezing. And you have an egg on your feet. You have an egg on your feet. And it's not supposed to roll into the snow. Otherwise, your embryo will be dead in a split second. So I want you to waddle around and transfer this egg on your feet to your partner. And when your partner's feet, you can now waddle around without the egg. It's still cold. You still have your shoulders up to the ears. It's still very uncomfortable. And now you can stand still and slowly relax. That will ease off. And I hear a phone. Who did switch off their phone? And that will ease your shoulder and neck muscles and will ease your whole overall posture. So you can now sit down again. Thank you very much for participating. For all the contestants, I will always take the lectern away, except for the one who said they want blood. Each contestant has the 1 minute time in between the speeches set up or clean up the stage if they need to. And if we are ready, is our chief judge ready, Kevin? Yes, fantastic. Thank you so very much. So I would like to ask our first contestant, Chris Smith, onto the stage to make an audio and video check. Would you please tell us your name and if you can see the lights, the timing lights? Sorry.
My name's Chris Smith and I can see the lights.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much. So please welcome contestant number 1, Chris Smith. Hard to swallow, Chris Smith.
It was Monday morning, first day of my holidays. It was 7 o'clock and I got nudged awake. I thought someone's about to get lucky. My partner, she rolled out of bed and I suppose she considered she'd got lucky. But she said, would you like me to cook you breakfast in bed? Would you like bacon and eggs? And afterwards, what about you go to Bunnings and spend the morning shopping? I should have seen the red flags. I loved going to Bunnings. I loved bacon and eggs, and I loved breakfast in bed. Something was going on. They all made me happy. My partner hated seeing me happy. But after I finished breakfast, I got up. Now, Bunnings is a 4-hour and 20-minute trip for me. Well, it's 10 minutes there, it's 10 minutes home. But it's 4 hours donning my good tradies clothing and walking around the aisles. But I'd only gone 5 minutes into my trip. And all of a sudden I remembered I didn't have any coin to buy myself a sausage. So I turned around and as I got to the door, everything was eerily quiet. And I expected my partner would have gone back to bed, but it was too quiet. I opened the door, but then I could hear moans. I got to the hallway and I could hear moans coming from the bedroom. I started walking down the hallway and the moans become louder. And as I got to the door, the tears started welling in my eyes as the moans become louder again. Was my partner cheating? I swung open the door and my worst fears were realised. There she was, laying on the bed with a mouthful of M&Ms. But not just any M&Ms, M&Ms with nuts, my favourite kind. It wasn't my idea to go on this stupid diet, and here she was cheating already. I knew what she was going to say. She was going to say, I'm only eating these for the health benefits of the nuts. So I said to her, if you were just eating those for the nuts, there's half a jar of nuts in our pantry that you could have eaten. She said, if you had to let me suck the chocolate off these, there'd be a full jar of nuts. And here I was all this time thinking we were just buying the slightly salted with that touch of saliva flavour on it. She had cheated. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The reason that we went on this diet started the week before. We'd gone to the shopping centre, and as we were walking through the shopping centre, I spied a McDonald's. I said, I'd like to go and get myself an ice cream. And I got the look. You need an ice cream, do you? Well, it's not that I need an ice cream, it's just that I'd like one. Would you like one too? And she said, no, I would not. Well, I'm going to have an ice cream, I thought to myself. But then I said, well, I'm going to get one. Would you like one? I'm happy to get you one. She said, no, why don't you get 100? Now, it's just for the men and the more stupid amongst us. When your partner says get 100, they don't want you to get 100. In actual fact, they don't even want you to get one. Do you? But I went up and I stood in line to get my ice cream. And as I'm standing in line, this little boy that had already mashed about 5 ice creams through his fingers come up and grabbed me by my good tradies pants. And he said, are you my daddy? I said, obviously not. If I was your daddy, you'd be good looking. But I regretted that straight away because behind him was his mother. And she was beautiful. So I had to make amends. I said, I'm not your daddy. But if you'd like a little brother or sister, I'd be happy to be theirs. And she said, over my dead body. I said, let's not go there. I've been married before. After our flirting was over, I went up to get my ice cream. It was my turn. And the young man behind the counter said, how can I help you, Gramps? I was in a good mood, so I let it pass. I said, I'd just like a 30-cent cone, thanks, mate. He said, they've gone up to 50 cents 12 months ago. I said, a 66.6% increase straight away. And he goes, no, 20 cents. And I said, I've got lettuce in my fridge that's older than you, and it's smarter. So after I grabbed my 50-cent cone, I walked back towards my partner. Hadn't melted. I walked back towards my partner and I had that swagger as though I just bought a new car. And as I showed it to my partner, she said, can I have a bite? I said, you didn't want an ice cream. She said, I don't want a whole ice cream. I said, yes, but I do. She said, I just want one bite. Does anyone know why these cost 50 cents? Because when you have one bite, that's what you're left with. And I'll admit, I got a little bit cranky. And my partner turned to me and she said, right, we're going on a diet. You get too cranky when you're eating sugar. I said, I haven't had any yet. And as everybody knows, diets always start on a Monday. We do our preparation Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So we went home and all the pavlovas, profiteroles and pastries, they all had to go. Every single one flushed down the toilet. After I'd eaten it, of course. And then on the following Monday, we had the big weigh-in. And my partner says to me, she said, you're 95 kilos. Your goal is to get back to 85 kilos in the next 3 months. Little did you know, on the Thursday before we started, I was 85 kilos, but preparing for the diet had certainly put me up. And now here I am, 3 months into my diet, only having 10 kilos to lose. And here I am with only 15 to go.
We have now 1 minute silence for the judges, please. Thank you, timer. I would like now to ask our next contestant to come forward for the audio and video check. Please state your name and if you can see the timing lights.
Yes, my name is Tammy Patrick and I can see the time lights.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Contestant number 2, Tammy Patrick, center aisle syndrome. Center aisle syndrome, Tammy Patrick.
A meerkat camping light. Who even wants one of these? Who even needs one of these? Darren did. In fact, Darren wanted one very, very much. You see, Darren could be your dentist. Darren could be that guy who mows your lawns. Or he could even be your neighbour You see, Darren was just like you or I. He went into Aldi that first time intending to get bananas. But 2 aisles down, he discovered the centre aisle. Darren, unknowingly on that day that he bought the meerkat, had begun a severe journey with centre aisle syndrome. Now, it only started with small items, so no one was really worried. The meerkat, the pastel-coloured steak knives, the camel hair pillowcase. But then they got bigger. There was the whippersnipper that doubled as a mixmaster, the polystyrene ladder. Oh, that didn't end well. The giant inflatable Easter bunny, the wheelie frame. Darren's wife was becoming alarmed. Look, see the faces of some of you out there? Guilty. You look just the sort that would have bought the easel. And you don't even paint, do you? No, no, no. But Darren's wife was really becoming quite alarmed. The garage was fast filling up. And she came and contacted CAS, which is where I come in, the Society for Centre Aisle Syndrome. We immediately took Darren's wife aside and allocated her a counsellor, such as myself. What do we do with such a terrible syndrome, and how do we treat it? Well, thank goodness, ladies and gentlemen, research has been done at the University of Michigan, and we have found some surprising results. So we've actually found that hugging goats increases your chance of improvement by 52%. Doing the hokey pokey, however, 63% chance of improvement. But doing both together, hugging goats and doing the hokey pokey, an 83% chance of recovery. So Darren's chances of recovery were looking quite good. Now, I'm looking at you all out there, and you would have received the little cards as you came in, requesting for questions today. And I thank you for your questions. I would like, first of all, to reply to Simon. I see you there, Simon. Simon, did Darren ever become involved in the activewear sale? Well, that's a rather personal question, isn't it, Simon? But I want to say that Darren was seen around town in a floral crop top. That's all I need to say about that. Mary, where are you, Mary? Thank you, Mary. Wants to know if there are any common traits in people with centre aisle syndrome. Yes, Mary, they're generally happy people, but they like to swear a lot, and they nearly always buy the Aldi blood pressure monitor. So that is a common trait. Judy, thank you for your question. Did Darren make a full recovery? Well, this is a bit of a sad one, because no, indeed he did not. He would not hug goats, and he would not put his whole self in during the hokey pokey. So our final question from Michael at the back there. Michael wants to know, are CAS counsellors very qualified? Michael, I have to say to you, we could not be more qualified if we tried. All of us have gone through centre aisle syndrome ourselves, including myself. And to make a point, I will show you, I too was once a victim of centre aisle syndrome. Yoga sales can be so cruel. If you are sitting out there thinking, gosh, this is sounding familiar. I actually am doing some of these things. Yes, you did buy the glow-in-the-dark saucepans, didn't you? And yes, you got the crutches. That's wrong with your legs. Oh, and this lady is not sleeping before the LD catalogue comes out the next day. It's very sad, and I can see that you all have symptoms, maybe not great, but some of you I am particularly concerned about. So I'd like you all to stand up now, stand up everybody, and we're going to do a little bit of therapy. Just limber up here. And we put our right hand in, our right hand out, right hand in, shake it all about. We do the hokey pokey and we turn around.
We have now 1 minute silence for the judges. Thank you, timer. If the visitors at the back would like to try to find a spot inside, otherwise at the side are chairs, you don't have to stand there. And I do that until you're sitting down before we continue. Thank you very much. I would now like to ask our third contestants for an audio and video check. Would you please come forward and tell us if you can see the timing lights and your name?
My name is Brett Kenny and I can see the timing lights.
Fantastic, thank you so very much. Our third contestant is Brett Kenny. Time to admit, Brett Kenny.
Please think about your loved ones for a moment. Those of you who may not have someone you love, just think about your spouse. Isn't it wonderful when they snore? The dulcet tones that reverberate like a chainsaw starting or a tractor backfiring. One of the joys of life. Well, no, it isn't. And if you think snoring's good, you need help. Snoring is the dominant cause of people becoming SISR or scissors. And I know this because I am one. There you have it. I'm confessing I am a scissor. My wife is a scissor. We're out, we're loud, and we're proud. And for those of you who do not know what a scissor is, it is an acronym, or more rightly an initialism, for sleeping in separate rooms. Contest chair, my fellow scissors and the rest of you, everyone knows that good sleep is essential for good health. And snoring is to good sleep what the cockroach is to good kitchen hygiene. And the only way to deal with snoring legally is scissorship. And yet, despite this, there is a stigma against it and a prejudice against us. And that is not fair because it is the only choice we have. And that stigma and that prejudice has forced us underground. And we have become a secret society, a little bit like the Freemasons, except we don't have a pathological obsession with goats. Like the Freemasons, we do have our own secret sign, and I'll share it with you today. There it is, the sign of the scissor. And I can guarantee you there will be other scissors here today and online, and I will bet you that before I have finished, at least one other person here gives me the secret scissor sign. And I've seen one and I've seen another. We are amongst you and we are everywhere. And yet to date, we have been repressed. Well, no more. Scissoridom is a sleeping giant, and today I intend to wake it. So how did we become scissors? Christmas Day 2020, my wife fell down some stairs and badly broke her leg. So bad was the break that it required multiple operations to fix it. And after each operation, the surgeon would call us in and say, you know what, I think it would be better if you didn't sleep in the same bed to avoid risk of further damage to the break. So off to the spare room I went. Great sleep for the first time in years. No snoring. Well, at least none that kept me awake anyway. When our operation was finally finished and the break had healed, the surgeon called us back in and he said, good news on two fronts. Number one, the break is fixed. Number two, you can go back into bed. On the way home from the surgeons, there was a sort of eerie silence, normally reserved for when I've said something out of place at a party. Eventually, I said to my wife, you know what? I think I'll stay in the spare room. Her reaction said it all. We had a taste of scissoridom, and let me tell you, once you have tasted it, you will never go back. So let's look at why there is a prejudice against scissoridom. It has its roots in the most despicable of the 7 deadly sins, envy. Yes, envy. Those who despise us secretly envious, or worse, if they don't, their partners do. And for others, scissoridom is immoral. My Auntie Beryl says, you two are sinners. You are sinners and you are going straight to hell. My reaction, okay, but can we have separate rooms? Us, 2 rooms down there is preferable to sharing a room up there. And Auntie Beryl and Uncle Doug are quite unfair on this subject. They don't have to worry about sleep deprivation. They are both profoundly deaf and have a seriously diminished sense of smell. And worse, and this is what makes their criticism worse, they haven't heard my wife snore. And my wife's snoring is really loud. So loud, in fact, that our neighbours have complained and we've had to soundproof the bedroom. And that is a worry, because we live in the middle of a 60-acre farm where we breed pigs next to an airport. And just as fine wine gets better with age, so does snoring. When my wife was in her 30s, her snoring was terrible. It was shocking. But now she's in her 60s, it is first class. Her snoring is of Olympic standard. And I'm starting to think that just as no one over 60 should ever wear lycra, maybe no one over 60 should share a bedroom. See, my wife is 6'1" with long legs. And when I was younger, that was very appealing. But after 40 years of nightly assault on my kidneys, the long legs have lost some of their appeal. When we were in our 20s and we moved in together, all my mates would say, you lucky bloke. Now we're in our 60s and those same mates have found out we're sleeping in separate rooms. You know what they say? You lucky bloke. And there can be only one objection to scissoridom. What about the physical stuff? Well, the answer is simple. Make a play date. Put it in the diary discreetly. As a friend of ours wrote, visiting wife for play date 10:30 p.m. Returning to own room 10:33. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to convert you to scissoridom. Keep putting up with snoring. See if I care. Or, I ask, is it you respect our rights to be scissors? and we'll respect your right to be sleep deprived, noting that we are healthier and happier because we are sleeping better and we ain't going back. And to my fellow scissors, I say, be repressed no more. Find the courage to come out. Be courageous, be proud to be a scissor, because it's time to admit it. Contestant.
Have now 1 minute silence for the judges, please. Thank you, timer. And yes, I would love a coffee. I would like to ask the fourth contestant to come up to make the audio and video check by stating your name and if you can see the timing lights.
Tracy Green, and I can see the timing lights.
Fantastic, thank you so very much. Our fourth contestant is Tracy Green, risks and issues, Tracy Green.
I know what you're thinking. Sadly, no. Who suffers bloating? Anyone in the audience suffer bloating? Yeah, then you'd know what I'd feel like. And I wish it went down that easily. Sadly, the bloating doesn't go down that easily. It's embarrassing. I'm a project manager. I should know better. Risk and issues are my bread and butter. First would be assessing the risk of what causes my bloating. Fried onions. What did I have with my breakfast this morning? Fried onions. The issue is looking like I'm 3 months pregnant. I should know better. But contest chair, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to share 3 stories from my childhood. And maybe what it'll give you is some insight to things you could do differently, considering risks and issues. These stories are true. They've just been dramatised for effect. Story 1. Imagine 6-year-old Tracy, adorable and modest, playing her favourite game, Witches and Fairies. It's basically a game of chasey, where one is the fairy and someone, the chaser, is the witch. Here I am, childhood, paddock. It's chasing me. Oh my God. I'm going to jump into this pit. Oh, it's filled with broken glass. I've got a scar on my foot to show it. It didn't stop me, but never deterred me from any of the adventurous games that we played. Imagine adorable Tracy, still modest, 8 years old, inquisitive, always wanting to know more. Why? Why? As children, we played tennis at the front of our house, brick house, windows up the top. Smack that tennis ball, occasionally smash the window. On this particular day, 8 years old, curious because a glazier was there to fix the window. In our bedroom next door to the broken window, I climb onto my bed, onto the tall boy, Open the window and I'm hanging out. There's the glazier. What are you doing now? Fixing the window. Oh, what are you doing now? I'm removing the broken glass. And I kind of think now, reflecting as an adult, I was probably annoying with all those why questions, because he says to me, kiddo, we don't want another broken window. I suggest you close it. Oh, okay. Crash. Broken glass everywhere. Scar to prove it. That did not deter me. Still incredibly inquisitive. Imagine. Adorable Tracy, 10 years old, still modest. Who knows Mary Poppins? Who grew up with that story? I inspired to be Mary Poppins. And as an adventurous child, myself and my siblings were often climbing onto the roof of our house because we had an amazing wattle tree that we could do a running jump to. So the thought of testing being Mary Poppins did not deter me. I climbed up onto the roof of the house and with my trusty childhood, cute plastic with pink flowers, umbrella, I jumped. Alas, the umbrella did not hold my weight and I had a sprained ankle. Did that deter me? No. Attempt number 2. Climbed up onto the roof of the house using an adult size umbrella. That, of course, should help with the weight dynamic, shouldn't it? Ready? Off we go. Sprained ankle. What to do? Still curious, still adventurous, still modest. I spied a golf umbrella. The size of those, that should work. But you know what? 2 attempts and 2 sprained ankles. I'm going to drag a mattress outside. That's it. So I drag a mattress outside, I place it in the position that I'm going to jump. I climb back up on the roof. Golf umbrella, this is huge to a child. Whoa, this is going to work. I'm Mary Poppins. No sprained ankle. Alas, I did not float down to that mattress. Today, I now recognise I'll never be Mary Poppins, but it does not deter me. I'm still adventurous. But I imagine, what would life be like if I had a safety officer assessing all of these activities before I undertook them? Here I am, your safety officer. Let me assess. Child number 1. Playground. Ooh. Glass. Ooh. Suitable? Ba-bow. Let me assess. Child number 2. Climbing up into a height, hanging out a window. Broken glass. Suitable? Ba-bow. Let me look at child number 3. Oh, very inquisitive. Bit jumping off the roof of a house? Well, I think not. The use of an umbrella is not suitable. But the use of the mattress, very clever. Still, ba-bow. As a safety officer, I implore all of you, consider the risks and issues that you or your children may experience. Don't deter their curiosity, but do assess. Is it appropriate? Contest check.
We have now 1 minute silence for the judges, please. Thank you, timer. I would now like to ask contestant number 5 to make an audio and video check by stating your name and if you can see the timing lights.
My name is Fiona Price, and yes, I can see the time limits.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Our 5th contestant, Fiona Price, 2020 vision. 2020 vision, Fiona Price.
Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, fellow pandemic survivors. What was your 2020 vision for your birthday? For most residents of Melbourne, the birthdays of 2020 couldn't hold a candle to the birthdays of 2019. In 2019, a birthday outing meant going to a gig or a show. In 2020, a birthday outing meant going to Coles to fight over toilet paper. In 2019, a huge queue outside a venue meant a great place to hold a party. In 2020, a huge queue outside a venue meant a terrible place to have a PCR test. In 2019, we invited friends to our homes for birthday whining and dining. In 2020, we invited friends to our Zoom meeting rooms to watch us blow out the candle through a surgical mask. But I, fellow Toastmasters, was luckier than most Melbourne residents. On my 2020 birthday, I got to slip on a gown and go to the theatre. It all began a few days earlier when I woke with a tear in my eye. Waking up is such a moving moment, especially in 2020, when waking to words like curfew, lockdown, and remote learning often left not a dry eye in the house. But this particular morning, there was a dry eye in the house, while my left eye was wet as a Williamstown winter. My right eye was as dry as a Dan Andrews press conference. This would have been fine had I been a snail. I could bring my 5K radius anywhere I wanted, and my eyes could go their separate ways. For a snail, it's quite normal for one eye to grieve the death of the Queen, while the other eye watches the coronation on TikTok. But as a human being, I'm used to eyes with a more codependent relationship. And on this morning, my right eye had clearly lost sight of her partner's needs. I took the troubled couple to the GP for a little relationship counselling. He prescribed a little lubricant to get things moving. So I slipped a little of his lubricant in my eye, and suddenly my mildly weepy left eye turned into the burning eye of Sauron. I turned my burning eye on my cowering GP, who reached for the ring of power, a call to a very expensive eye surgeon. Good news, Master. He can fit you in for an operation at 8 a.m. on the 10th of June. Just what I've always wanted for my birthday. Getting up at dawn and going to the theatre, where I will be starring as the pirate. Who ran up in the morning? I arrive at the day surgery centre. Of your eye operation as our special gift to you. Here comes a nice doctor to help you unwrap it. Into the waiting room hobbled a man who looked days away from receiving his own birthday greeting from the Queen. Dr. Greybeard has many centuries of experience. I can tell. Ageism is a terrible, terrible thing. I am personally all for people over 98 living full and productive lives, so long as those lives do not involve operating on my eyeball. Dr. Greybeard beckoned to me with a hand so spotted and so shaky, it looked like a nervous Dalmatian strapped to the end of his arm. Shiver me timbers. But I followed him down the corridor like a prisoner walking the plank. And there I saw he'd laid out a gown for me. It's always important to dress well for the theatre. So I slipped it on and took centre stage next to my elderly and heavily armed co-star. In Act 1, he seasoned my eye with anaesthetic. After a short interval, he unwrapped my birthday present. In Act 3, I handed a treasure chest of doubloons to reception and limped home to spend the rest of my birthday on the couch, a very large bottle of rum. I'm pleased to say that my journey on the good ship Scalpel was a success. After 2 months, I was able to cast my patch overboard. And after 2 years, I felt safe enough to go back to the theatre for my birthday. Sadly, the show of 22 wasn't a patch on the show of 2020. But even though the performance wasn't quite as cutting edge, it was a great deal easier on the eye. Contest chair.
Have now 1 minute silence for the judges, please. Thank you very much, Tom. I would now like to ask contestant number 6 to come forward for an audio and video check by stating his name and if he can see the timing lights.
Colin Howe, yes, I can see the lights. I see the light.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Our 6th contestant, Colin Howe. Greg's not vulnerable. Greg's not vulnerable. Colin Howe.
Last year, Australians just like us lost $550 million to scams. As somebody who works in the cybersecurity industry, do you know who I blame? Well, the scammers, obviously, but the media. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, I'd like to talk to you today about how, despite what the media likes to tell us, it's not people who are somehow vulnerable who are only falling for scams. And I want to talk to you about some of the ways that you can stay safe yourself. To begin, I'd like to tell you about my friend Craig. Now, Craig was scammed recently, but Craig's a smart guy. He's a lawyer. And he's not just a lawyer, he's a criminal lawyer. He's not a lawyer, he's criminal. He's a lawyer that works with criminals. We're on the phone. And he suddenly said, "Oh, I've got to go. Just got a bloody email saying that my bank account's been locked and I've got to verify my password." Said, "Dude, don't worry about it. Just ignore it. It's a scam." He said, "Colin, I'm not stupid. I can spot a scam. Stop calling me dude." Said, "Listen, champ, my advice, ignore the email, go into your account the way you normally would. If it's a real email, it'll be waiting there for you." We hang up. 5 minutes later, text message from Craig. "Damn it, you're right. It was a scam. I feel like an idiot. Also, don't even think about calling me champ. You can't tell anyone about this ever. I don't want people to think I'm stupid." I replied, "Of course I'm not going to tell anyone. Sport." With the possible exception of judges, other contestants, audience members, miscellaneous helpers at a series of Toastmasters humorous speech contest events. The thing is, Craig is smart, and he's also probably one of the most cynical, suspicious, untrusting, and kind of mean-spirited guys you'd ever meet. Or as his friends like to call him, a lawyer. So he should have picked up on it straight away. Why didn't he? Because Craig doesn't think he's at risk. Because every time he sees a story in the media, it's always vulnerable Australians falling for scams. And Craig's not vulnerable. If you look at the definition of vulnerable, an infection caused by unprotected sexual contact. And that's the... Venereal, who's been using my dictionary? Vulnerable. A person in need of protection or support because they're at risk of abuse or neglect. That does not describe Craig, nor does it describe the majority of Australians who fall victim to scams. But what it does do is it makes them feel embarrassed, stupid. And that doesn't help anyone. It's the reason, one of the reasons that the ACCC believes less than 20% of scams actually get reported in Australia. So we can't rely on the media to tell us who the people are that are getting scammed. And they don't help by not giving a realistic view of how scams work. Let me give you an example from this article. If somebody calls you impersonating a legitimate company, don't give them any personal information. Now, as someone in the cybersecurity industry, it doesn't work that way. You don't get a call going, "Hello, sorry, I'm trying to do like a non-specific country accent. So I don't. Hello, my name is Corey, and I'm impersonating the legitimate company, Microsoft." All right, it's got a bit more Dracula than scammer, but you get my point on this, is that they don't do that, because if they did, it wouldn't work. So if we can't rely on the media to give us a clear understanding of what to do, what can you and I do to help protect friends, our families, other decent Australians, and Craig from scams? Well, when you go home tonight, visit the website ScamWatch and look through all the scams that are actually occurring in Australia right now. And you'll see that it's not vulnerable people who are falling for scams, that there is in fact no demographic. There is no age, there is no status, there is no educational level that is untouched by scams. And that it's up to us to change the message from it's just vulnerable people who fall for scams to it's people that fall for scams. And we all need to be on guard. Sorry, it's awkward. I thought I'd turn this off. Oh, it's a coincidence. That's Craig. 1 second. Sorry, Chief, I'm in the middle of something. No? No, what? Why? No, I didn't tell anyone about the scam thing. No, that Toastmasters thing was just a gag. Yes, I know a lawyer. You're a lawyer. No, why would I know a different lawyer? Sorry, I think I'm just going to have to take this. Let's check.
We have now 1 minute silence for the judges, please. Thank you, timer. I would now like to ask our next contestant to come forward to make an audio and video check by stating your name and if you can see the timing lights.
Alan Fitzpatrick, and yes, I can see the lights.
Fantastic, thank you so very much. Our 7th contestant is Alan Fitzpatrick, a quarter Australian, Alan Fitzpatrick.
I am 1/4 Australian. I moved here shortly before my 30th birthday, and having recently turned 40, I realised that's 10 years, or 1/4 of my entire life. I feel very proud and privileged to call myself 1/4 Australian, and I look forward to the next decade. When I turn 50, that'll make me half Australian. Contest chair, judges, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I have always been terrible at maths. One of the most embarrassing moments of my teenage life happened during a maths lesson. I had a maths teacher that I had nicknamed the Terminator. I called him the Terminator because he was big and scary, and rumor had it he was a bouncer in a nightclub on the weekends. At the end of every lesson, the Terminator liked to put a number of problems on the blackboard and invite students to come to the front of the class and solve them. Of course, all the smart students' hands shot up. They couldn't wait to get to the front of the room and show everybody how clever they were. Fellow Toastmasters, I was not one of those clever students. I sat at the back of the class, made myself as small as possible, and I hoped that nobody would notice that I existed. This strategy worked for a couple of weeks, until one day the Terminator said, in his scary Terminator voice, "I've noticed that some of you have not been volunteering at the end of class. You know who you are," he said as his cyborg eyes bored into my soul. "Today, I'm giving you a shot at redemption. Today, you can volunteer at the end of class, or you can continue down your coward's path, and I will nominate you anyway." I was definitely going to continue down the coward's path. Made myself as small as possible once again, closed my eyes, prayed that I wouldn't be picked. But of course, that didn't work. A few moments later, all of the other mathematically challenged students were shoved to the front of the class to face down some serious algebra. I remember holding a piece of chalk in my hand and numbers are a lot bigger from up here. Let's see, there's figures, symbols, Japanese characters. In other words, I had no idea what I was doing. I looked to my left, I looked to my right, and to my horror, all of the other students were finished their work, and I was alone at the front of the class, shipwrecked in a sea of algebra. Minutes felt like hours. Suddenly the room went very, very till the Terminator broke the silence. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, "Alan, you're an idiot, aren't you?" No. The class just erupted in laughter, and I tried not to cry. Contest chair, judges, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I don't want to alarm any of you, but it's also important that you know the truth. There are millions of children all across Australia suffering through maths lessons every single day, just like I once did. This is an outrage and it must be stopped. That's why I'm using my platform today to announce that I am beginning a campaign to completely eradicate mathematics from the entire Australian educational curriculum. Thank you. This, I know, is a gargantuan task and not something that I can achieve alone. I need your help. Write a letter to Anthony Albanese. Tell him this isn't adding up. We don't want maths in our schools. Start a protest outside your local kindergarten. Tell your children to set their maths textbooks on fire. Contest chair, judges, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I may have spent the first 3/4 of my life being terrible at maths, but I refuse to spend the next 5 quarters. Contest chair.
That concludes the humorous speech contest. I would like to ask you all to remain silent until the judges, the chief judge and the counters have left the room. Can we please remain silent for the judges? judges who have completed their ballot, please put up your arm that the counters can see you and find you. The chief judge has left the room, so now we can erupt into applause. What fantastic speeches we've had. I really congratulate all of you, and I really appreciate that you were all here. I would now love to see all the contestants back up here on the stage, and please welcome them with a huge round of applause. Don't spread too much. I know I'm German, but I'm not that German that you have to say it in order. No, that's okay. And I'm allowed to make a joke now because I am completely out of the contest, so I can now be silly here. So I have here the certificates of participation. This is a word I really love to say very often, certificate of participation. Try to do that with a German accent. Yes, my apologies. And one for Fiona Price. One for Tracy Green. And one for Alan Fitzpatrick. Where's Tammy's? Where's Tammy's? Thank you very much, Alan. And one for Tammy Patrick. So please, if someone wants to make a picture, now is the time and opportunity. And I get out of the picture. Together, Chris, come on. You're not fighting, you're not poisonous.
Okay,
Yes.
ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes,
I have to be there
as a contest chair. Ready? 1, 2. Say contest.
Chair in the way.
Okay, so thank you very much. I'm supposed to do an interview with you. I'm not the biggest fan of doing interviews with the contestants, as some of them may be in the later contests. I don't even know. And I'm not so sure if I really should do that or not. But I'm supposed to do that. And so I'm now asking all the contestants 3 questions. First question is, how long are you within Toastmasters? What club are you in? Not that we don't know, but we have to ask. And third question, what is your favorite food? So I'm starting there with Chris in the very corner. Chris, tell us, how long have you been with Toastmasters?
Since 2007, I joined the Shepparton Club, and unfortunately it's closed, so I'm now in the Wangaratta Club. And my favourite food would be
Ice cream.
M&M with nuts.
Sweets.
Sweets, okay. No specifics.
I love them all.
You love them all. Okay, okay, good. So please don't go into the bag of soup. They have some. Don't, just don't. Colin, yes, my apologies. Colin, how long have you been within Toastmasters? What is your club and what's your favorite food?
I've been with Toastmasters for about 18 months. Part of Mighty Docklands. Favorite food is probably pizza.
Pizza. One specific time of a part of pizza?
I'm a traditionalist, so I'm quite a fan of the Pizza Hut pan meat lovers.
Okay, sure, okay. So no pineapple on pizza for you?
I'm pineapple and blended one.
Okay, okay. I hope I don't get stoned to death right now. And Tracy, what is your story? How long have you been within Toastmasters? What is your club and what is your favorite food?
So 2009, originally Hawthorn. I wasn't in clubs, but I'm back down to 1 and I'm still with Hawmate, a monthly dinner club.
Yay, nice. And what is your favorite food?
I don't discriminate. Except peas and beans and other things I don't like, and everything else.
Okay, so they had to smuggle the grease into your life.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, good. And Alan, no, yes, Alan, what is your story? How long have you been with Toastmasters? What is your club and what is your favorite food?
I'm coming up to my 1st year anniversary with Toastmasters.
Wow.
I'm part of the Adelaide Hills Toastmasters Club, so I've come over here from South Australia. My favourite food is probably everything. I'm a bit like Tracy, except I do eat peas. Everything.
Everything. Okay, so the buffet is still only with chocolate and pizza and everything what the kitchen floor has to offer. So, well, we can see how the buffet is getting better. So, and Tammy, what is your story?
Thank you, Julie. I've been in Toastmasters about 4 years. And I'm a member of Warrigal Club and Sale Toastmasters. And I'm also very fond of jelly at the moment. Yeah, Julie stays in hospital. I think.
So this green, red jelly, you can jello.
Yes, I don't mind about the flavour. Yeah, the colour doesn't worry me, but so long as it's jelly.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a very sad story about the German jelly. The German jelly is Waldmeister. It's a very popular flavor, but it's unknown here in Australia. And I tried to ask my sister in Germany to send me some Waldmeister jelly. And I also asked her for a specific toothpaste, and she mixed it up and she went to the pharmacy and asked, she asked the pharmacist for a toothpaste with Waldmeister flavor. The pharmacist is still searching. Okay. What is your story? How long are you with Toastmasters? What's your club and what's your favorite food?
I have now been with Toastmasters for 9 years at Williamstown Toastmasters. I am part of the exclusive pro pineapple on pizza fraternity. Yeah, I see some nods, yes, we are among you. But my favourite fruit, actually, I'm going to go for the exclusive persimmon as my favourite food. Yeah, an unusual fruit, which is currently in season for its all brief 2 weeks a year. I'm eating lots of them.
Okay, good. Thank you very much for sharing that. And Brett, what is your story? How long are you with Toastmasters? What's your
Just clicked
club?
over 5 years, 2 clubs, Dandenong Rangers and Top.
And what's your favorite food?
I don't care as long as it had parents. Did we try these weird, what are those weird things we had last year? Vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably a lamb cup.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you very much for sharing that. And now I could embarrass you a little bit more, but I don't really want that. So please go back to your seats. And instead of interviewing the contestants a little bit more and doing more nonsense to those poor people, I would rather start with some exercise for all of us, because we are sitting here in a very cold room and we are all start to shiver. And to avoid that, I would really like to go around the room. And when I point at you, you are standing up and tell me what I've asked you to tell me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, good. I love that. So now I would like to find animals, any animals, and we are starting throughout the alphabet. Yeah, that's quite easy. So finding an animal with A, and then we are going through the ranks. And I see you already thinking, oh, an animal with A, an animal with A, an animal with A. Oh, hopefully she's not picking me. Hopefully she's not picking me. And I start with Daryl here in the corner. Stand up and give us an animal.
An albatross
Yes.
with flies.
Yes, nice, an albatross. Okay.
It's a bird.
That's an animal. That's an animal. Okay, an animal with feet. And I see there a gentleman with a glasses. Yes, he's now looking at me. Yes, stand up. Give us an animal with feet. A bat. Yes, fantastic. Thank you
Other
very
flying
much.
thing.
Bat, yes. Yes. Okay, an animal with C. I see that Kristen has just moved at the wrong time.
Animal with C.
A cougar, yes. Thank you very much. Very nice. And now we have an animal with D, and then the very back, N. A dog, yes, very nice. Thank you very much. An animal with E. An animal with E. Oh, there, someone is raising a hand, Jackson. Elephant, yes, okay, an elephant. An animal with F. There, you're looking so very excited. I don't know your name, but please give us an animal with E. Yeah, you don't have to look in the back. It's you, yes.
Okay, a fly.
A fly, yes, very good, a fly. So an animal with G, I see the gentleman with a mustache there with a dark black jumper.
Giraffe.
A giraffe, okay, you were lucky now, so you are now the next one. H, an animal with H.
Hyena.
Hyena, okay, very nice. An animal with I, and there, Ron, you are looking at me smiling, so Ron, an animal with I.
I got one. I got one.
Hey, wasn't it klar? So what do we have next? The J. Do we have a J? Who is? Oh, yes, the J. Jackal. Jackal. Yes. Okay. So what's next? A K. A K. And anybody? Yes.
Kangaroo.
A kangaroo. Okay. L. An animal with L.
Llama.
Huh?
Llama.
Llama. Very nice. An animal with M.
Macedon.
Macedon?
Macedon.
What?
Sorry.
No, that doesn't count. An animal was M.
A maggot.
A maggot. Yeah. An animal was N. Anyone? Animal was N. Oh, you're standing up. You have an animal with N?
Do I have an animal with?
N.
No, I don't.
No, you don't. Why did you stand up?
I'll go on.
Sorry. I have here one animal with N at the front.
A nightingale.
A nightingale. Yes, very nice. What do we have? An O. An animal with an O.
Ocelot.
Ocelot. Yes, thank you, Judy. And an animal with a P. A pig. Yes, I heard that. Very good. An animal with P, pig. And an animal with a Q. Quagga. Yes. Okay. An animal.
No, it's not K. It's a Q.
Q, yes. It's Q.
Okay. Make up your mind.
Michael.
I'm Macedon, so.
You're taking it personal. So what do we have? An animal with R.
Rat.
A rat. Where was a rat? Yes, thank you very much. A rat. And an animal with an S. Who's there? Not you, but you said the animal was S, the snake. Okay, the animal was T.
Tasmanian tiger.
Turtle. Sorry, it's not who is loudest and who is fastest. It's here pointing. Huh? So we have the T for the turtle for T. An animal was U. Yes. A unicorn. You heard that. It's. Do you have a different animal with you, Michael?
Upside down monkey.
Nola, nice try, but no.
Ursula.
Ursula is not
That's
really.
a bear.
That's bear. Any real animal was ooh. Sorry? An urchin, yes, a sea urchin, very good. An urchin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So an animal was V. Yes, in the back.
Bowl. There's a bowl.
A vole.
B-O-L-E, bowl.
What is that?
It's a rat. It's like a mouse. Smallest mammal. There's 50 million of them.
Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. And an animal was a W. Yes.
Walrus.
Walrus?
Walrus.
Walrus, the walrus. Yes, very nice. And now it becomes a little bit tricky. An animal was X.
Xylophone.
No, no, sorry. Sorry, mother. No.
Ibex. You didn't say it had to be in the front.
An animal, yes, X.
An expect animal.
It's not an animal. It's good. It's maybe a Michael animal. Okay, and an animal was Y? Yeah. Okay, and the lucky last, an animal. Okay, thank you very much, all of you. Bye. So the chief judge has returned and he just told me that we have no disqualification.
Whoa.
And now, a little drum roll, please. The third place in the District 73 Humorous Speech Contest goes to Alan Fitzpatrick. Please stay there. And another drum roll, please. Come on, we have to, one more time. One more. Thank you. The second place for the District 73 Humorous Speech Contest goes to Chris Smith. And now for the winner of the District 73 Humorous Speech Contest, please give me the clap. The winner is Brett. This concludes the humorous speech contest. Congratulations to all three winners.
Kevin, can you also please join?
Kevin, you're required here.
Ready? 2, 3, go. Smile. Hold that. Okay. Thank you, guys.
So thank you very much all participants. This concludes the humorous speech contest for the areas now for the District 73. And I now hand back to our Northern Division Director, Darren, who is also the conference manager and MC of the day. So